Hey guys, today I want to talk about the Apple Watch Series 5. So without further ado, let's begin. So there's really only one reason alone for you to buy an Apple Watch, and that's adding a tiny bit of convenience to your daily life, and that's really it. Let me tell you how I use my Apple Watch. So the first thing I use it for is for notifications. These days I have my phone on silent mode basically all the time, and that's because the notifications for my calls and messages all go through on my Apple Watch. And the great thing about the Apple Watch is that it serves as a filter for my calls and messages so that I only reply to the important ones. And I check my phone less this way. Because if I have to check my phone every time there is a message, then I'll likely be using my phone more, because after I check messages on my phone, I'll likely do something else and procrastinate. So the Apple Watch helps me in this regard. The second thing, music and podcast controls. Whenever I want to listen to music or podcasts, I just press play on my Apple Watch and then listen to the audio with my AirPods or my phone. So whenever I'm doing a workout, whether that's at home or at the gym, I don't really go to the gym that often because the equipment I have at home really suffice my training needs. I just use the Apple Watch and put on my AirPods. If I want to listen to podcasts or music, then press play on the Apple Watch and that's it. Or if I'm outdoors and I'm running or I'm doing some sort of dryland training that needs a bit more space, then the Apple Watch plus the AirPods serve as a great combination for me to listen to music and podcasts when I'm working out, and I don't need to carry around my phone, which is very bulgy and I don't know where I can put it because I'm afraid someone else would steal it. Then there are some very niche use cases such as unlocking your Mac or authenticating stuff on your Mac with your Apple Watch, using Apple Pay, and also setting timers, alarms, reminders with your Apple Watch instead of your phone. And then the last and probably the most important thing I use the Apple Watch for is the My Swim Pro app. Now, this is kind of personal, but if you're a swimmer like me, you'll understand why I'm so excited about this. The My Swim Pro app on the Apple Watch is basically an app where you could enter an entire swim workout into the watch with the split times and everything, and you could basically work out without a coach or a clock, and then you just need an Apple Watch and a pole, and you're off and you're set to do a killer workout. It basically transforms the Apple Watch into a personal swimming coach, because you know the sets and the reps you need to do, you know the times you need to meet, and then there are auto reminders for when you need to start the next rep. So it's basically a lifesaver for people who train by themselves, since I don't no longer train with any teams. It's basically a lifesaver for people like us to do proper solo training sessions. So this is the major reason why I bought the Apple Watch. And for many of you swimmers out there, if financially you can do so, then I really recommend you to get one as well.
Oh, it's awesome.
I'm not sponsored by My Swim Pro. I hope they sponsor me, but even if they don't, I would genuinely recommend this app for any swimmers out there or anyone who wants to start swimming today. You should get the Apple Watch and the My Swim Pro app. Okay, so if the Apple Watch is that good, then why should you not buy it? And there are two reasons, and the first one is pretty simple, and it's that you can basically do all the things I mentioned just now without the Apple Watch, albeit with ways that are probably more troublesome and just a bit more inconvenient. Without the Apple Watch, you could still receive notifications on your phone. You could still use Apple Pay. You could still set timers, reminders, calendar events. You get the point. You could still do all of the stuff I just mentioned without the Apple Watch. Yeah, it would be a bit inconvenient, but you could still slap on a wristband, put your phone inside, put on some earbuds, and go outside to work out. Probably not outside right now because it's quarantine time. Stay inside and work out, and then stop being such a little whiny kid like me. And even as a huge fan of the My Swim Pro app on the Apple Watch, I still don't think it's necessary for you to own an Apple Watch first and then start swimming. Because how else did you think that Michael Phelps won those 8 gold medals in the Beijing Olympics. Did you think that because he owned an Apple Watch? No, the Apple Watch wasn't even invented back then. He won it because he has this super wide wingspan and he trains super hard and he's more dedicated to the sport than anyone else, than a lot of people. And even people like me, another normal Michael, I only started using the Apple Watch since the end of last year. So there's really no excuse for not working out or not being able to do a lot of the stuff I listed above, and so you have to purchase an Apple Watch. No. Now, when you purchase any Apple product, there's a chance that you'll be sucked and then locked inside the Apple ecosystem. But the Apple Watch alongside the HomePod are the worst when it comes to sucking and then locking people inside the ecosystem. And that's because both of these products need an iPhone or whatever iOS, macOS, iPadOS device you have to unlock and activate the device so that it could start running properly and be properly used. That means even if when you receive an Apple Watch or a HomePod as a gift from a friend or a family member, it's basically useless. Both of these things are basically useless if you use an Android phone. There are workarounds to get the Apple Watch or the HomePod running with an Android device, but they're expensive. And when you're paying such a huge price tag for luxury products like the Apple Watch or the HomePod, you shouldn't need to think a whole lot about how to get them working with your current devices. So if you want to enjoy the smartwatch experience, you should look into the Android side of things, especially if you're a non-Apple user. The Huawei Watch GT2, the Samsung Galaxy Active 2, the Galaxy Watch 3, the Fitbit Versa 2. There are a lot of options out there. Are they worth it? That's a topic for another video. But if you don't want to get locked inside the Apple ecosystem, then you should look at some other options offered by the other brands out there. But there's still probably another question for you to think about, and that is, which Apple Watch should you go for? And here, I'll limit my discussion to the Series 3, 4, and 5, because those are the 3 generations of Apple Watches that I think people will be looking to consider if they're deciding to buy it now or this year. If this is the first time you're buying an Apple Watch, then I suggest you go for the Series 4, because I think that is the sweet spot, I'd say. You get thinner bezels and a much larger display, and this makes a huge difference when you're using the watch on a daily basis. You also get a faster processor, and this means quicker app launching times, and also Siri needs less time to load and then respond to you. If budget is a concern, then you probably shouldn't be looking to buy an Apple Watch in the first place. But if you want the Apple Watch experience, then the Series 3 is more than enough to suffice most people's daily smartwatch needs. I actually went for the Series 3 myself in the first place, and the only reason I bought the Series 5 was that I broke and absolutely shattered the display of the Series 3. And then after I got it fixed, the Force Touch function was not working, and so I went out to buy a brand new Series 5 because I thought, why not just splash my cash if I could? And I probably shouldn't have done that, because that was just such a rushed decision. It was not well thought out, and that was just plain stupid. And you shouldn't be like me. I'm telling you, I'm warning you to not be like me. But if you want something that's a bit better in your day-to-day usage, then just go with the Series 4 or 5. Unless you need to have the always-on display, the additional 16 gigs of storage, and the compass, just go with the Series 4. It's the same watch without those few features, and the international emergency calling thing on the Series 5. That's also not available on the Series 4. But so unless if you're a hiker and you need a compass, and unless you store loads of music and podcasts and audiobooks on your Apple Watch, you don't need 32 gigs. Like, of course, there are some people that need that much storage, but then most people, I think, would not need it, because 32 gigs, Do you know how much 32 gigs of storage is? My iPhone 7 Plus from 2016 has 32 gigs, and this bloody watch here has 32 gigs as well. So it's just mind-blowing to me how fast technology advances these days. So to be simple, just go with the Series 4, and if you can't afford it, then don't buy an Apple Watch at all, or go with the Series 3. With all that said, the Apple Watch Series 5 is a small piece of tech that adds a bit of convenience to my daily life, and that's it. I have to say though, whichever finish you went for your Apple Watch, whether that's stainless steel, titanium, ceramic, or just the plain aluminum I've got here, if you're a guy or girl that does really tough workouts, then you should probably get a case, because these things are really fragile. You probably shouldn't get a full case like I've got here with the Series 3, because it covers the screen and it sort of makes it a bit blurry, a bit harder to look at. But then get one of these cases that like shows that like the display is not entirely covered, but then the edges of the watch are entirely covered, and it's actually the edges are slightly higher than the display. So if the watch really falls and or really you slammed it into something, the display itself will not make contact with the surface, but like the edges will, so your display won't break or shatter. Because when I was swimming backstroke, I actually like slammed my wrist. I miscounted my strokes and I slammed my wrist into the wall. So for all those swimmers out there, like count your strokes, and so you won't break your Apple Watches if you're swimming with them. But really just try to protect them really well and use a case. So that's all I have to say, and until my next video, I'll see you guys later.
It's hero time.
I'm not an alien, I'm a Pokemon.